Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 career mode for the Japanese Grand Prix today, and the music begins. We have an R&D change on the power unit and the aero sides of the chart, but we'll worry about that later. But we'll get into qualifying. Just before we do that, I discovered a bit of a weird glitch in practice. If you use flashback as soon as you get control of your car, or sorry, as soon as you're able to use a flashback in the pit lane, you can get some crazy things happen, like this. I don't even know where that is, but yeah, the car seems to teleport to very random locations around the circuit, and yeah, I'm not exactly sure what causes this, but yeah, we had some I literally messed around with this for probably, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, just taking ridiculous screenshots, and yeah, you can see, like, even in the car park there, and yeah, all sorts of weird places our car teleported to in photo mode. But anyway, we even got a look at the Alfa Romeo garage there for a minute. But anyway, we'll move on from that, move into the end of Q1. We get through in Q2, Danny Kvyat in P4, so we're looking in pretty good shape here. We may very well be the second fastest car this weekend, second only to Mercedes, and obviously we did manage to out-qualify Hamilton in Q1. Let's hope that can continue into Q2. As we do, Hamilton goes ahead and tops the session. We go P3, sorry, Ricciardo, looking at the wrong flag, the wrong Australian there, goes P3, Kvyat P4, we're down in 6th position rather, with Hamilton and Bottas leading the way, so maybe the pace not quite looking as good in this session, and Ricciardo doing a great job to be that high in the Renault is pretty crazy. But anyway, now we move on into Q3, the end of our first flying lap in the session, and we'll see where this lap puts us relative to the field. We go P2 at the time being, Hamilton ahead of us, but we drop down to 3rd as Bottas improves on his time. So as we continue on through the session, then we do go out for another flying lap, and we'll see what we can do on this one. And we actually take until just after the Degners to even go green on this lap, so it's not quite as good as it definitely could have been, and we are currently sitting in 3rd position. So let's see if we can improve on that as we head along towards 130 for the final time, getting a lot of dirt on the tyres through there on the right, left, and then on the right again, using all the available space. Now into the triangle and out towards the final corner and across the line. Where will we qualify? 3rd place. Not bad.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Bottas, and the scientist. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So it's a 3rd and a 5th for myself and Kvyat. Not a bad effort by the team there. Charles Leclerc does manage to jump in between us, as well as we both actually out-qualify Verstappen, and Albon didn't even get into the top 10, so very strange. Let's get into the race.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Issa Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson, alongside me as always, to talk you through the action?
Well, it's certainly going to be tough for Valtteri Bottas today, looking rather out of sorts so far this weekend. Let's hope he can find something extra and get himself back in contention later on in the Grand Prix. One more thing to consider is the strategy element. How far can the drivers push these tyres, and who's going to blink first for fresh rubber? It'll be interesting to see if the leaders have to compromise their plan to cover off the cars behind them.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. The scientist lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, and Perez, Albon, Norris, Stroll, and Kevin Magnussen. Kvyat, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz, and Bottas, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and Nicholas Latifi. Giovinazzi and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
Well, from what has become pole positions with both Mercedes cars getting penalties, we should be able to do that. We're going to be able to do the one stop from the softs to the mediums, so as Jeff is saying, we should be able to give the Honda engineers and the Japanese fans a race worth watching for the Honda powered cars. Starting on pole position here in Japan, 5 red lights. And away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's an alright start for us. We do get away well enough to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc. We've actually got a great start, leaving them behind, and through the first couple of corners we'll easily maintain the lead. And now we just need to focus and make sure we don't make any mistakes through this very tricky first sector. Never mind, that didn't last long. Mistakes already made, but nonetheless we will be able to continue on, and we should be able to pull away. We have the pace over just about everyone in the field, other than maybe the 2 Mercedes cars, but they're both down the order. So as we try and get up to speed and get a rhythm, we should be able to pull away from these cars behind if the tyres hold out. These soft tyres, though, may not be very durable in these sunny conditions. So let's hope that our tyres don't overheat and we can continue to push hard in this race to get away from Leclerc and the rest of the crew behind us. But as we continue on then, all the way to lap 16, we are currently still in the race lead, but the Mercedes there of Lewis Hamilton is in the pit lane, and he is onto another set of softs. So Lewis Hamilton is going to do a 2-stop in this race, starting down the order. That could be very interesting. He's going to have a lot of overtaking to do, and at Suzuka that is never an easy task. But we actually come into the pits a little bit early, or maybe a lap early, I can't remember exactly, but nonetheless we do come into the pits, get the mediums on, and they will take us to the end of the race. It's a pretty long stint, to be fair, from lap 18 all the way to lap 53. Yeah, we did come in a lap early. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a long stint on these tyres, so let's hope they last and give us the grip we need until the end of the race. But we will get an undercut on anyone that we will be sort of legitimately fighting in this race. Hamilton won't be too much of a concern, but nonetheless we do catch up to him anyway, as he's stuck behind the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi. Hamilton brake checking us there, as he did not have the confidence to go side by side with Gio through 130R, and we just about managed to get down the inside, round the outside. No, Hamilton doesn't give us any space, but we do get a run along the main straight. Hamilton tries to defend, we push him back to the racing line, and we will charge past him in a straight line as we head towards the first corner, and we do make the move on Hamilton. And next up is Antonio Giovinazzi. We should be able to make a move on him as we go up the inside. Yes, we do, into the hairpin, and make the move on Gio. Next up is the Haas of Romain Grosjean. We've been stuck behind these two cars for a lot longer than what we realistically should have, but we were up the inside of Grosjean. That was a late move, but we did manage to make it relatively cleanly as Fiat makes his stop. But yeah, we see a replay here. We were so far behind, but Grosjean was just so slow heading into that corner. That Haas really is not a great car, and he's actually got a bit of damage. He turned in on us, to put it simply. We were, legitimately down the inside. We were very fast heading into the corner, but there was a full car width on the outside there, and Grosjean just turned in. So to be fair, there's not really any way you could have seen that coming, as we just about go around the outside of Charles Leclerc, maintaining the position ahead of the Ferrari. But yeah, not sure really how to call that one. But anyway, this is Alex Albon in the pits, and he is on to the mediums. As we continue on though, this is Lewis Hamilton, trying to make a move on Charles Leclerc. So Hamilton's stuck in traffic at the moment, and that is going to continue. But as we continue on, we are currently in second position, and remember, Hamilton still has another stop to make. So we're ahead of him on track. We're going to the end, and he still has another stop. And I think he might be the only, or one of the only drivers on a 2-stop. But Bottas, you may also notice, is on the medium tyres, so he's going a long distance into this race. So there's a lot of different strategies playing out, and there goes there goes Lewis Hamilton as we continue through this race. And it's not really going to matter though, as we have a little look up the inside. But yeah, Hamilton is going to make another stop in this race, and in fact he goes in now. So just as he made the move on us, Hamilton has to come in for his second stop. So we're a full pit stop ahead of Hamilton, and Hamilton.
Bottas ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 17.0 seconds.
Hamilton is well over a pit stop behind Bottas. If Hamilton was pitting from right in front of us, we're 17 seconds off Bottas. And
yes, great job, excellent work. First place now, P1.
And yeah, we take the lead once Bottas makes his stop. But anyways, we continue on. This is Lance Stroll going for a move around the outside of Charles Leclerc. I don't know where Stroll has come from in this race, but there is the current running order, as everyone has made their final stops. Hamilton way down the order. He's got so much work to do in this race. Bottas even has lost a lot of ground after his stop. So they both have a lot of work to do. And as we continue on, Stroll still looking for a move on Charles Leclerc, and still not being able to get the move done on the Ferrari. And in our world, there is not a lot happening. A fastest lap of the race though. So despite being on these tyres for a while now, they're about 20 laps old. They still have some decent grip. But as we continue on, you can see in the top left, Lance Stroll has made the move on Charles Leclerc, and a mistake there for us. And Stroll is actually getting ever closer. He is showing some really great pace at this stage of the race, and has been chipping away and catching up to us. So we may have to worry about Lance Stroll. He might actually be able to take the lead away from us here. And on top of that, Valtteri Bottas isn't too far behind either. He's in 5th position. We need to keep an eye on him too, as we make a mistake through Degner 1, and that is going to let Stroll catch right up behind us. Thankfully, we still managed to maintain the lead of the race, but Stroll is right there behind us, and he is going to take any opportunity he can to take his first victory in Formula 1, if he can pull it off. For us, we've already got that statistic in the books, but another win would be very, very much appreciated. He goes for the inside as we head through 130R. He doesn't decide to follow through with that move, and we do manage to hold on to the lead, but on the grass on the entry to the Casio Triangle, a mistake, and Stroll takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix, and a mistake there from us has cost us this race win, but we may be able to come back at him with the DRS if we can stay close enough. So as we head through this lap, we really desperately need to stay close and use up whatever fuel and energy we have to try and stay close to Lance Stroll, and we are reasonably close. So if we can just continue this momentum and stay this distance behind, I'm hoping eventually Stroll will run out of fuel and energy to deploy. But this is now the 3rd lap behind him, and it's not really happening. We're not really getting any closer, and yeah, we don't quite have enough. But as we continue on, we're just going to keep trying, keep pushing, and hope that we can pull a lap together good enough to try and make a move on Lance Stroll. And maybe getting a little bit closer here on this one, very close through the triangle. So now, as we head onto the straight, we do have a run on Lance Stroll, who really good top end speed here. Around the outside we go into the first corner, and we do to retake the lead from Lance Stroll and go back up into 1st position. But in the meantime, Bottas has got up into 4th, so he's getting closer as well. But a bit of mistake there, missing the apex. Stroll back up the inside as we head towards the Gyokubank curve. Another mistake there, and Stroll is down the inside, and he's going to get the lead lead back. We're still going to try and take the inside line here, but we just get pinched in and we can't carry the speed that we want to through Dunlop. We're right behind him through the Degners, but I don't want to follow that closely through there. That's just asking to take the front wing off. And Lance Stroll has maintained the lead through that little fight there, and we really running out of options here as the tyres are wearing out. That was very close to just slamming into the back of him there in the braking zone, starting to lose composure a bit at this stage of the race. And yeah, we just don't have the grip that Lance Stroll has, and we're really just staying in the fight by just sort of throwing the car into the corners and hoping it sticks. And you can see there it's starting to not work quite as well for us using that tactic. But as we continue on through this race, still vaguely close to Lance Stroll, but only actually a few laps to go, 5 to go in this race now. And our attention is starting to shift because there is Valtteri Bottas about the same distance behind us as we are behind Stroll. So it's getting very, very tense. But as we continue on then, it's about time I think we start pushing once again and try and catch up to Lance Stroll. Our best chance of staying ahead of Bottas is to put Stroll in between us. So here we go along the main straight. We will have DRS and we are gaining, but we're not going to get close enough to Stroll this time. But we are closer than we've been for a while. We go off circuit there trying to push the limits, and we are right behind Stroll. So if we can maintain this distance for a while, we may be able to make a move on Stroll on the next lap. You can see getting a bit out of shape on the exit there and how close Bottas is getting to us. But as we continue on, just a couple of laps to go now, and we do have a good exit here onto the main straight. DRS open. Will we be able to make a move on Lance Stroll as we head towards the first corner? Redefends. We do go to the outside, and we're going to do it again round the outside of Lance Stroll, and we retake the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix once again. And now we just have to try and hold on to it as best we can, but a few little mistakes there already. So these tyres are really not giving us any grip that we want. But as we continue on, again getting wheels on the grass there on the entry to the hairpin, we can't really get it stopped and turned the way we want, and Stroll retakes the lead there on the exit. Bottas now getting past as well. We're going to try and keep the car on the inside line. We just about squeeze our way through and getting back past Bottas with the overtake mode, covering the inside line instantly as we clear the front of his car. And now getting a lot of understeer and missing that corner completely. Bottas retakes second position, but we do somehow have some momentum along the straight, and with some slipstream we might be able to get to the outside of Bottas as we find out there's not quite enough room there, but we'll still try and do it around the outside. Bottas backs out of it and drops back down into third position. We retake second, but now Stroll, as we go off circuit again at the same corner, we keep dropping wheels into the dirt on the outside, and Bottas now is back up into second position. And with just 2 laps to go in this race, I don't know if we're going to have what it takes to try and re-overtake Bottas, but we'll see what we can do as we move on to the final lap. That's not going to be the case though, because Bottas is now right behind Lance Stroll and is going to maybe go for the move here. He does, to the inside of the first corner. Stroll might lose this on the final lap. Bottas though can't quite take it, and Stroll still maintains the lead. Bottas is going to have maybe 2-3 more opportunities at the most to take the lead here in Japan, so he is going to need to make the most of those. He is right behind Lance Stroll through the S's and the Gyokuban curve and heading towards Dunlop. The first opportunity, or the next one I should say, will be into the hairpin. So if he can maintain that distance behind, he has every chance to make a move there, but it's not going to be easy. That racing point is pretty quick in a straight line, so as long as Stroll doesn't make any mistakes, I think he might be able to hold on there, and he does. So the next opportunity for Bottas will be into the Spoon curve, but he's dropped off a little bit on the exit, so Stroll may not be under too much pressure there. As the fuel is running dry for us, not going to be an issue though as we head through Spoon. Bottas not able to make the move there. There's only one chance, and it might be the best one of the lap as they head towards the 130R and the Casio triangle. That will be Bottas's last chance of taking this position, but Lance Stroll looks like he's got it under control as they catch up to one of the back markers. They're not going to get in the way though. Stroll locks up, but it's not going to be enough. He still maintains the race lead, and Lance Stroll is going to do it. He is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix. What a drive from Lance Stroll as we come across the line to finish third. What a race. Unbelievable finish for Lance Stroll. Bottas coming through the field as well from nowhere. we managed to get third for the Honda Power here in Japan. Not a bad day of Formula One. Ugh.
That was brilliant stuff from Racing Point today. What a superb victory. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
The Racing Point team will be very happy with today's performance and the final result. Another display of excellent driving and excellent teamwork, and a well-deserved first-place finish.
So it is Lance Stroll who takes the race win here in Japan. What a race for both him and the Racing Point team. Valtteri Bottas finishes up second place here and gets a lot of valuable points for his championship, and we finished in third.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Valtteri Bottas, a commanding performance that I think had the audience's eyes glued to him for the majority of the race.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
So with all the points Bottas scored there, that means Mercedes are now the team's champions, and the title fight is well and truly back on. Less than 20 points in it now, and it is going to go down to the final few rounds, that is for sure. But Hamilton, bit of a quiet one today for him. Bad strategy call, and yeah, just didn't make his way through the traffic very well, not even compared to Bottas in the later stint. He flew through the traffic, and yeah, Hamilton, he did make his way through at the end, but not well enough. And you know, by the time Hamilton made his second stop, he needed to be in the race lead, and you know, he only just took second place. Bottas was miles up the road, so yeah, there was no way Hamilton was ever going to beat Bottas today on that strategy, and yeah, just didn't work for him. But yeah, Lance Stroll, I don't know where he came from. His qualifying wasn't particularly fantastic, but whatever he did in the race must have been pretty special, because of I thought he was down the order, and then all of a sudden he was looking through the flashbacks and he was making a move on Leclerc, or trying to. I didn't actually quite catch the overtake, unfortunately, that he made, but yeah, I don't know where he came from and where that pace came from, more importantly, but whatever it was, it helped him take the win today. But yeah, for us, another huge bank of points. There's nothing for us to really gain in the Constructors, I don't think, so just trying to get our position in the Drivers' Championship as high as possible, and yeah, I guess set ourselves up as well as we can for next season. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but other than that, not too much else. Sorry, Bottas, that was a bit rude. Oh well, he beat us to the line anyway, so it's not a big deal, I suppose. But yeah, let's get into the interviews.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. We all underestimated you, didn't we?
Well, I actually think we probably could have done better today. There were a lot of mistakes, and they cost us some important positions, to be honest.
Which department has been hit the hardest by next year's regulation changes?
I would have to say the power unit department. We've done so much work in that area, and it's a shame that we have a lot of work to do.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thanks. Nothing about getting a podium in a Honda-powered car in Japan. No? Okay. Well, anyway, we continue to smash ALBON in this rivalry. What is going on with ALBON? I didn't even see him in this race. Didn't even see him. Where was he? Was he even racing? Actually, I didn't see Verstappen either. Huh. Strange.
I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but
Well, our upgrade on the chassis department has just failed. That was a major. That would have been so good to get that for the US Grand Prix. A lot of tight corners there that could have helped us out with, but unfortunately it has not gone onto the car. So that actually leaves us in a bit of a pickle here. Are we going to try and rescue that upgrade, or are we going to try and save the parts for next season? Not sure. But yeah, for now, I think we may... No, we don't have enough resource points to make that upgrade.
we could go for something like this.
So yeah, I think we'll just continue to adapt our parts for next season, because by the time we get that upgrade on the car, there's only going to be 2 or 3 races left at the most. So it's not really going to make a huge difference to our finishing position. So we're just going to adapt as many parts as we can and go down that path. But yeah, other than that, there is not a lot left to cover. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the US Grand Prix. Thank you and goodbye.